Hey guys, Nthefastlane here. In this video we have a very unusual bad wheel bearing. So pretty much what I did is we jacked the car up, moved the wheels side to side, and then up and down, kind of back and forth. And we couldn't hear anything. It wasn't loose at all. Put it back on the ground, tried to move it side to side, no loose, but we get this wobble sound, like woof 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 as it's going. And so we jacked the car up, all four tires, spun it, couldn't hear nothing. So this is how we pretty much came to the assumption that we truly do have a bad wheel bearing. What we have here is a 2004 Mazda 3. And as you can see, we got it jacked up over here. I got it jacked up on one side over here. And then if you come over here on this side, we also have it jacked up here. So we got it off the ground, and my buddy's gonna go ahead and put it in first gear, second gear, fourth gear. And we're gonna get it up to about 25 miles an hour. And you wanna get it up to fourth gear so the RPMs are quiet and you can actually hear it without having to hear the engine. So you hear all that? You can actually see the tire kind of bobbing up and down quite a bit. Go ahead and turn the steering wheel towards me. So inside there we got the wheel bearing, and you can hear it if you listen carefully. It almost sounds like it's missing maybe one bearing or it dried out completely. So this is pretty much what you're looking at, a bad wheel bearing. We did multiple tests and the normal way to find a bad wheel bearing would be just to grab the rim when it's on the ground and kind of move it sideways or up and down. And if it has any kind of play in it, then it's a bad wheel bearing. But in this case, it didn't have any of that. So it's kind of like a tough diagnosis. All right, so it's a little house call over here at my friend's house. And as you can see, I really didn't have all the tools I needed. So this was kind of just a at the moment repair. Basically what you got to do, this is the Mazda 3 2004. You got to put some penetrating oil on this lower control arm and push down on it. Basically you got to get something big in there and pry it. You don't really want to, you can't even hammer it because there's not really any space between this assembly, knuckle assembly right here. There's limited space. Actually it's down here. Basically over here there's a 17 that comes out the back. You take that out. You can hit a little bit of penetrating oil here, smack down the whole assembly, this guy right here, and then it'll come out of here. Then you're going to go ahead and remove your tie rod right here. I believe this one is, I think off the top of my head, let me see, I think it's a 17. Yep, you got yourself, it's a 17 millimeter. You got to take the pin out, pull that out, and then up here, your linkage. So you got your or not linkage, but your sway bar link, your end link right here. 17 millimeter right here, and you're going to have to jack this piece up a little bit so that you can evenly push it out, because it won't push out, it's got tension on it. So once you get all this out, and I was telling you earlier how to pretty much diagnose it, here's what we're working with. And let me get away from the fan. Basically, if you listen carefully, you can hear that. That bearing is done. So that was the noise we were getting. I thought maybe it might have been a drive axle, but usually drive axle only does like clunk, 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 clunk when you're making a left or a right turn. I mean, if you got a really bad one, it can make noise, but other than that, that's what it is. So pretty much for this has to be pressed out. So we got to come in with a vise in the back, or a press, and we have to press out this one. And I ordered one with the hub and bearing already pressed together. Here's the hub and bearing assembly. You can order them with just the bearing, or you can order them with the hub and the bearing put together. They're roughly about $70, and I think maybe $40 or $50 for the bearing. But to save a lot of time, we just went ahead and ordered the whole assembly. If you need to purchase this for 2004 Mazda and it'll fit other models, you can order this on my website underneath the video. If you're on YouTube, it'll be in the comment section. I always pin my store to the very top, so every video I put out has the parts for the repair. So it'll say shop this video. This is the new one. I'm going to go ahead and spin the new one. This is what it should sound like. As you can hear, you pretty much probably can't hear nothing. And it's nice and quiet, and that's what you're looking for. Alright, so we got it in the press. And we got a little adapter piece. So now we're just going to press it from the back side. And it's going to press it all the way down to the bottom. So just hit it up with some 2000 grit paper or anything you find that's kind of a fine coarse sandpaper. Clean it up a little bit and then wipe it down. Put a little bit of lubrication on it and then press the bearing in. Next, just kind of line up the hub and bearing, and then you want to kind of start to press it in flush. You know, if you get crooked on it, it'll kind of go in a wrong angle.
A little bit more?
A little bit. That's it.